What's good, future millionaires? We back with another banger. I'm DecemberDeMarco, Fortune 500 marketer, here to share my insights of the market with y'all to hopefully help y'all become better informed investors. Salute to y'all for pulling up on the channel. Make sure you hit that thumbs up like button for the YouTube algorithm and do not forget to subscribe. So we got to talk a little bit about FTX, man. FTX is the cryptocurrency that is causing this market crash or pullback, correction, whatever you want to call it, discount. That's what's causing this right now. Of course, we got other factors laying on top of it, but the biggest negative catalyst that we're facing right now is the FTX liquidity crisis. So let's take a look at this and see everything that they're saying about it right now so that we're better informed investors, because, you know, we seen what happened with Lunk UST and how that crash basically brought down the entire crypto market. We're seeing something similar play out. And right now it looks like FTX may be heading towards bankruptcy. So hopefully those that are invested are able to get their funds out safely without, if their funds being frozen on the exchange. Obviously, you're going to get you're going to get hit for, you know, the discount that we're seeing, you know, because the price pulled back. So you're not going to have the same value. But nonetheless, I would rather see people, this is not financial advice. If you know something I don't know, then that's perfectly fine. Do what you want to do. But I don't want to see a situation where people are stuck with their crypto on the exchange like Voyager. I've talked to several people in my community that had 6 figures on this exchange and they couldn't pull it off once that exchange went bankrupt. So let's talk about this. Crypto in chaos as FTX teeters on the verge of bankruptcy. FTX tapped into customers' accounts to fund risky bets, setting up its downfall. Senate banking panel leaders call for new crypto rules after FTX collapse. So we're seeing, you know, things can get very shaky. We can start, you know, this possibly is not even the worst of it. You know, it can be even more bearish if we find out, you know, tomorrow that this exchange actually goes bankrupt and a ton of investors lose out on all their money. That would most definitely probably rock the markets a little bit. FTX tapped into accounts, basically funding risky bets. This is like how I talked about y'all, or told y'all about in the last few videos, how they're using our funds and reporting whatever number they say on the screen to us without actually having that value. So let's say your account says, you know, you have 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. That's just a digital number on there. That number doesn't really mean that they're actually holding the assets that, you know, reflect those numbers. So we got to be careful with that. This is why I say and been advocating for cold wallets. You want to get, you know, I'm about to even have to drop a cold wallet, you know, for my own line of it, but and just get all my subscribers tapped in. But you want to be able to control your seed phrase. If you don't control the phrase, if you don't control that 12 keyword, or you don't control those words that you put in for your code, most likely it's not yours, y'all. Even if they say it's in your account, it doesn't mean it's technically in your account. They could be reflecting numbers to you. So never put all your eggs in one basket. But let's look at a few of these articles real quick. We're just gonna dig into them a little bit, you know, see what they're saying, just give ourselves some more insight so that way we aren't caught lacking. So in less than a week, a 30-year-old entrepreneur once hailed as a modern-day JP Morgan watched his digital empire, including billions of his own fortune, evaporate in a death spiral that's shaken the foundations of the trillion-dollar crypto industry. On Thursday, Sam Bankman-Fried issued a mea culpa. I effed up, he wrote in a lengthy Twitter thread, apologizing to investors and customers of FTX, the exchange platform he founded in 2019. Failures are not uncommon in the murky, largely unregulated world of crypto, but FTX is not your average crypto startup. Its near collapse this week represents a potential turning point for an industry that many critics say have been given a pass for far too long. So what happened to FTX, and why is the entire crypto space freaking out about it? There are still a lot of uncertainties, but here's what we know. So fishy finances. Last week, the crypto news website Coinbase published an article based on leaked financial document from Bankman-Fried's hedge fund, Alameda Research. The report suggested that Alameda's business rested on shaky financial footing, namely that the bulk of its assets are held in FTT, a digital token minted by Alameda's sister firm FTX. That was a red flag for investors, as the companies were, on paper at least, separate. Alameda's disproportionate holdings of the token, however, suggested that the two were much more closely linked. So on Sunday, the CEO of Binance, FTX's much larger rival, said his company was liquidating $580 million worth of FTX holdings. That set off a firestorm of drawdowns that FTX didn't have the cash to facilitate. So rivals come together. By Monday, concerns about and think about that, y'all. CZ just pulled a move on him. CZ smelled blood in the water. He smelled that they were standing on a shaky house of cards. He said, "We pulling out $500 and something million. We're gonna push y'all towards this liquidity crisis." Now, granted, this is not this is allegedly. This is not financial advice. This is not. This is just my opinion. But he did this right at a time where him doing his withdrawal caused others to begin to basically withdraw, which led to the 10th largest withdrawal day in cryptocurrency history. So basically, out of all the time crypto's been around, the day he began that, it triggered the 10th largest sell-off in the crypto market. So basically, in a way, crippling them, knowing that, to me, he did make a statement saying that he did not strategically do this and it wasn't planned out. But then again, it's like, man, if it wasn't, that was just, very, you got to think about it. They are competitors. Now, this does hurt the overall crypto space, but if your number one competitor is now coming to you asking for you to buy them, that's a good sign for your company. Now, let's keep going with this. By Monday, concerns about Alameda and FTX had bled into the broader crypto market, but Bankman-Fried was defiant, tweeting that FTX and its assets were fine. He also sparred with the CEO of Binance, CZ, whose tweet had fueled the run of FTX deposits. So look at this, y'all, telling us everything's fine. This is why we can't trust these people, y'all. We cannot trust these people. They will tell us everything is fine, knowing that everything is on fire, at the same time. And that's just, I think that's really, really shiesty to do. So that's why we can't trust these billionaires. This is why it's important to learn how smart money, maneuvers in these markets. This is why it's important to really understand what these markets are, so we don't get too caught up and just put too much faith in areas that it shouldn't be. Now, I'm very big, of course, obviously, I love crypto. I'm a believer in the space. But this is why I really believe in DeFi, decentralized finance. We need, these centralized bodies to not have so much power over the average everyday investor. Now, of course, we can argue and do the argument of how DeFi eventually somehow can, go back into centralized finance. But at the end of the day, DeFi is still very much needed, and there's ways around that for those that want to make that argument. I had a debate with somebody about that, but there was clearly bad blood between the two, which is why it shocked the industry when the pair announced a tentative deal Tuesday for Binance to bail out FTX. So this afternoon, FTX asked for our help, CZ tweeted that afternoon, noting that there was a significant liquidity crunch at the company and that Binance would have to conduct corporate due diligence before going forward with any deal. Almost immediately after getting a look at under the hood, though, Binance began to backtrack. So basically saying, they had too many things going on. They were misusing customer funds. They were being investigated by the government. So Binance said, no, we don't want to do this. And honestly, I think it played a part as well with FTX not offering the U.S. Portion of the business. So when this deal was put on the table, it was for Binance to buy every aspect of FTX except for its U.S. ventures. So, of course, why would Binance want to leave the most juiciest part of the business on the table, save the rest of it, and, let them keep going with the U.S. version? He like, nah, we're not touching this. We're going to need everything, putting a squeeze down on them. And if not, then we'll just step back. So he used that card of, they're being investigated. They've been misusing funds. They probably knew that out the gate, but because he can't get the full business, I think that's why he doesn't want to take a step forward. So now let's take a look at one more article. I'm curious on this one. FTX tapped into customers' accounts to fund risky bets, setting up his downfall. Sheesh. Crypto exchange FTX lent billions of dollars worth of customer assets to fund risky bets by its affiliated trading firm, Alameda Research, setting the stage for the exchange's implosion. A person familiar with the matter says. So let's just, put this in layman's terms. They were taking our money, well, not me because I'm not on FTX, but taking investors' money and basically borrowing it out. So basically taking money from one person's account. They're just showing us numbers on the screen. They'll put those numbers on your screen and say, yeah, you have $250,000 in your account, but guess what? A portion of that money is not there, even if any of it is there at all, and they only move money around when it comes time to make a withdrawal. When the customer or the investor says, hey, I want to pull some of this out, now they're shuffling money around to figure out how to make it work. And this is what banks have been doing for years. So now we're seeing, these centralized crypto exchanges basically start to act like regular banks now. So this is something, we really want to pay attention to. So FTX chief executive Sam Bankman-Fried said in investor meetings this week that Alameda owes FTX about $10 billion. People familiar with the matter said that FTX extended, and then they saying it as if it's not the same people. He's saying Alameda owes FTX as if they're not the same. It's both of his companies, y'all. This is crazy how they be doing this. But FTX extended loans to Alameda using money that customers had deposited on the exchange for trading purposes. A decision that Mr. Bankman-Fried described as poor judgment call, one of the people said. All in all, FTX had $16 billion in customer assets that people said. So FTX lent more than half of his customer funds to his sister company. Out. Crazy. We don't even have to go further than that, y'all. We don't even, of course it gets worse. Of course, FTX paused customer withdrawals earlier this week after it was hit with roughly $5 billion worth of withdrawal requests. That's the beginning. That's the beginning sign of bankruptcy. Once they can't satisfy these withdrawal requests, here we go with the bankruptcy, y'all. Don't say I didn't tell you. So, yeah. This is bad, y'all. It's just sad to see that even with billions and billions and billions of dollars, these people are still so greedy that they would lend out half of the money. Think about that. Imagine if half of the money that you have invested in all your portfolio is really technically lent out to someone right now. It's not even safe where it should be inside of your account. This is why we can't trust these people. This is why you have to educate yourself and learn more about the space, learn about DeFi, so that way you can know how to use cold wallets. That way you know about decentralized exchanges. That way you can hold your own money and you know that it's actually there. So that's pretty much all we got for this video. Let's take a look at the chart as well. We did see that it was up around 50% today. FTX token up 50% right now, sitting at $3.46. Now, you're going to see some type of pump, some type of impulse or correction. I should say impulse. So, because the correction is to the downside, the impulse is to the upside. But we're going to see some type of sheesh. And look at it, it's not even that. They didn't even let it really do it. Sheesh. Yeah, y'all, this is absolutely crazy. I told you I would not be buying this unless you want to look at it as a lottery play. But of course, if the price pulls back 80% one day, then another 50% the next day, it's likely you could see a nice 30, 40, 50% bump on it, because some people are going to buy that dip and, hope that it props up. But this is what you call a falling knife. People buy that dip, people try to support it, and the price continues to fall back further. People try to catch it at that dip again, and the price continues to drop even further, basically, wiping out all potential for profit. So that's all we got for this video. Market cap at $467 million right now. Crazy to see. Volume $1 billion, down 26% in the last 24 hours. So yeah, it's a sign that it is cooling off. Very interesting to see how this plays out, though. I'm wondering, will basically Sam Bankman-Fried is basically like another dogecoin right now. The exchange didn't go bankrupt yet, but basically he's moving like another dogecoin right now. So it's like dogecoin probably is feeling a lot of pressure, off of him, because he's like, okay, now I'm not the only mega billionaire that caused some exchanges to crash. Now we got others doing it. But then again, it just worries me, like, which exchange is next? We seen FTX bail out all these other exchanges, and now look where they are. They're on the verge of going bankrupt. So we did just see Binance attempt to, buy out FTX. So that made me question, like, is Binance, in the same situation? Because FTX, when we seen them purchase these exchanges or bail them out, we thought everything was fine. They told us everything was good. But now we're seeing on the back end things were not good. So it's like, we need to really keep an eye on things right now. Also, Coinbase is laying off more employees. These are things we got to pay attention to. Robinhood, I believe laying off more employees. So just connect the dots. Check the links in the description section, man. I will keep y'all updated on every single thing going on, because right now is a very, very, it's a time that we need to, this time can either help speed up our process of generational wealth, or this can be a time that basically puts a kink in that if you make the wrong move. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you got on notifications. Also follow me on Twitter at DecemberDeMarco, follow me on Instagram at DecemberDeMarco as well, and we are